Joe Biden, we knew you were a little edgy sometimes. We knew that you didn't have everything going on upstairs. We knew that it was kind of getting hard for you to walk, etc. But let's just say this is all you, buddy. And it's on you now. You are living up to every stereotype around. Let's take it away. Here he is yelling at that young whippersnap of a reporter, Peter Ducey over at Fox.
Questions.
President Biden, something the special counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because, in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's
How
totally
bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad, I let you speak. That's
Your memory has gotten worse, Mr. President?
My memory is not. My memory is fine. My memory. Take a look at what I've done since I become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
Mr. President.
Yeah, not so sure the memory's all that good. I mean, he tends to forget a whole lot of things. We'll get to that in just a second. But before we do, just another example here. He was getting really testy. I mean, he came out and declared this emergency press conference. Maybe he was trying to take some of Tucker's thunder away from the Putin interview. Well, this is one way to do it, right? Take a look again. Here he is and just really showcasing some of that anger. Totally on defense watch.
Questions.
President Biden, something the special counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because, in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's
How
totally
bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad, I let you speak.
Look, I mean, all in, I would just say they got problems here. They got problems because it's something he can't really refute without doubling down on the anger, which, given his age, then makes him look increasingly weak. According to the report, he willfully retained in those disclosed classified materials, including classified documents related to national security and, quote, sensitive intelligence sources and methods, in his home and in his garage and in his office for decades, and he knew all about it. So he did this. He willfully took those documents and he kept them in his home, in his garage, and his office. In fact, in 2017, Joe Biden gave classified documents to a ghostwriter. Classified documents. So he's walking around with these things and gives them to the ghostwriter who's penning his memoir. And as someone who had actually never received a security clearance to read these things in the first place, but he did warn him to be careful, because some of this may be classified. In other words, he knew. That's how you know that he willfully did this. He willfully retained these classified documents. He's hanging on to these things. He's keeping them in the garage. Next to the Corvette, right? that somehow made it all okay. I mean, he kept telling us over and over and over again. He seemed distracted by the fact that he had a Corvette, lucky him.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President,
okay.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but anyway,
was in a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette. But as I said earlier this week, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
I think he really likes his Corvette. I think he actually might take the Corvette a little bit more seriously than he takes the classified documents. Thank you very much. According to the special counsel, the lawyer said that he was, quote, a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory who would be well into his 80s, and therefore they didn't really want to put him on on the stand because he'd come across like a bumbling idiot that he is. I'm sorry, but what does this say? I mean, he willfully takes documents, and then the special prosecutor special counsel can't move forward with any charges because, oh gosh, it's not going to be a good look. It's not a good look for the country. And he's just a bumbling old man who has no memory. I'm sorry. What is he doing as our president, ladies and gentlemen? We should all be asking this question. Should we not? I'll tell you, his competition, another young whippersnapper, as they say, Dean Phillips, he was on TV last night saying Joe Biden cannot win. There's no way he's going to win against Donald Trump. So look at me, look at me. They're not going to look at him, but it's worth hearing it.
The leader of the party. That's why there's so much deference right now. It is so clear. He should serve out this term. He's able, but he should not be running for another term for the United States presidency.
I'm not so sure that he should even be serving out the term, but you got to be careful what you wish for, right? I keep saying, he's really bad. He's really bad. He's really bad. But what is the alternative? What is the alternative? Kamala Harris, for goodness sakes. I mean, she's got a whole other set of issues. She's younger, so I guess we can't blame age. Is this like a neurological thing with all the word salad that we have to listen to on a regular basis? Right? Here she is trying to defend her boss. Watch.
So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated.
Oh, politically motivated? I'm sorry. Isn't this his administration? Isn't this his special counsel? How is this politically motivated, Kamala Harris? We heard some rumblings of that on MSNBC as well. But here, I'm just going to say, Joe Biden has been in politics forever. When I was a really little girl, I remember going to Yokin's restaurant in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where I heard him speak. And then I heard him speak many, many, many times in the years following. I might have been about 9 or 10 years old. And there was Joe Biden. And then, 4 years later, there was Joe Biden. And 4 years later, there was Joe Biden. I mean, he's run for president many times, and he's been in office for too many years. And unfortunately, while he's never been, shall we say, the best and the brightest, he didn't graduate top of his law school, as he'd like you to think. He's always kind of had some issues, but nothing quite like what we have seen, ladies and gentlemen, in the last couple of months. It's really ratcheted up. He can't keep people straight. He doesn't know who the head of Mexico is. He's talking about the head of Egypt instead of the head of Mexico. He's talking about people that he met decades ago that have since passed away as though they're in the present tense. He doesn't seem to understand what happened with his son, Bo. I mean, it's actually really sad, very sad, but you need to watch it to understand and comprehend just exactly what these lawyers were thinking. In other words, they were right. They really couldn't put him up there, and certainly not in front of a jury, for goodness sakes. Watch.
Beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer. My memory is fine. The president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate. A solid meeting with and Mitterrand from France looked at me and said,
elderly man with a poor memory.
I said, I'm going to be a president for everybody, whether you live in a red state or a green state. Anyway, I don't want to. Making Roe v. Wade. The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, of Putin's kleptocracy, yeah. $159 billion left. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
So
what am I doing here?
Nice. Joe Biden is really struggling. That comes to us from a meme creator actually over on Twitter. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality of where he is right now. He is too old for this job. And, I hate to say that. I'm not an ageist, by the way. I'm not, because, hey, I think age in so many ways is just simply a number. But the cognitive ability is severely declining. And you tend to see this with people. I've seen dementia up close, and it's sad, and it's quick, and it's speedy. And some of the things that he has shown us, I'm no doctor, but as just somebody who has seen this in individuals before, I worry about them. I actually do. And people joke and they say things like, this is elder abuse. And you know what? It's actually not a joke. And we can't be laughing at this, because this is a president who is clearly not who he once was. Not that he was ever any great shakes, right? But he is not who he once was. And we shouldn't laugh about it. This should actually be a matter of serious, serious concern. And so he went out there yesterday trying to act like he was in charge and he had all his faculties about him. But again, it presented almost as a caricature of somebody who's really angry and who's somebody who's quite elderly. And that's what we saw fully on display.